Welcome to step 1 of your project development process. The first step is completing your individual organization worksheet. The first step to doing any project is organizing yourself before starting your project. And that is the purpose of this worksheet, is to organize yourself through this process. The first thing that you're going to do when completing this project is add your email address. This needs to be a real email so that you can retrieve this form if you need to. Your name, the name of the project, and the difficulty level. After you have completed that, the next step you're going to do is work on your insightful questions. The insightful questions is the research part of your project, and aside from doing the project itself, the insightful questions is going to be the longest part of your project development process because it takes time to do proper research. First, you are going to create your own insightful question. This question needs to be whatever your curiosity might be that needs to be answered as to why you picked this project. So this question needs to basically be, what about this topic do you absolutely want to learn about? Okay? That is not already covered in the existing insightful questions. That needs to be your insightful questions. If you have more than one question regarding that topic, you have the option of adding additional insightful questions. But for your first project, we recommend only adding one question. Each insightful question should take anywhere between 2 to 3 days to complete. So you have 2 to 3 days per question to complete. So when you're looking at scheduling your insightful questions, you need to open up and take a look at your existing insightful questions and see how many you have. So let's say that there are 5 questions plus the one that you created. You're going to need about 2 to 3 days to do those questions. So that's just 6 times 2, which is about 12. So you'll need about 12 days to complete your insightful questions. That will be 12 days from today's date. Now you have to factor in if you have any lessons or activities or co-ops or field trips that are planned within that 12-day window. You might have to add additional days to compensate for days that you might not be available to work. You're also going to give yourself a deadline by saying that on day number 12, I will have my insightful questions due by, let's say, 2 p.m. or 5 p.m. or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, whatever time you want to say you want everything completed by. Once you've completed your insightful questions, you will then submit those. So we'll talk about that when we get to the next part. After you've completed your insightful questions, the next section is the brainstorming process. The brainstorming process is you just kind of thinking about what you want your project to be, how you want to execute your project, and we'll definitely walk you through that process. The brainstorming process is going to take about a week to complete. So you're going to start your brainstorming process about a day or so after you've submitted your insightful questions. So if your insightful questions are due 12 days from now, your brainstorming process will start on day 13 or 14 from today. And then it should take about a week to complete your brainstorming process. So it should be about 5 to 7 days after you have completed your brainstorming process. After the brainstorming process is completed, you are going to do the project managing worksheet. This is where you're going to lay out the milestones in order to organize all of the executable items that need to be done to complete your project. This should take about 2 to 3 days to complete. So you are going to start working on your project management worksheet either the day of or the day after you complete your brainstorming process. And then you're going to end your project management worksheet about 2 to 3 days after your start date. And finally, for your actual project, you can start working on your project the day that you end the project management worksheet or the next day. And your project will take about 2 to 3 weeks to complete, unless you are working on a foreign language project, which will take closer to a full year, which is about 8 to 9 weeks. Or if you are working on a level 3 project, or if you're working on a level 3 project, which will take closer to 3 to 5 weeks. That foreign language project might take longer than 9 weeks, but you can kind of schedule yourself out. You might have to give yourself a full 16 to 18 weeks to do that foreign language project. If there are any additional costs that need to be added, such as if you're doing a building project or if you're adding props to a video or something of that nature, then you'll have to add any of those additional costs so you know what your budget for the project looks like. And if you would like a coach to review your project before submitting, go ahead and select that option. If you have a coach review, you do earn additional fun bucks for going through the review process. Once you've completed this schedule for your organization worksheet, you will then go ahead and submit this. Please write down your dates and your times for each of your processes outside of this worksheet. So if you have any difficulty retrieving it, you can reference the original copy that you've written down outside of the worksheet. And this concludes step 1. Please stay in this classroom and send the ASM a message letting them know that you have finished this video so that they can pop in and release you from step 1 so that you can then begin your project. Have fun working on your first project, and just remember, we're here to help you through the entire process. Have an amazing rest of your day.